abuse, corruption, and tyranny audit has come to a serious ongoing situation that involves first responders and the health and safety of our children. Ontario Provincial Police and Children's Aid Society wrongdoing and cover-up of aggravated assault and abduction causing severe bodily harm to a child has been exposed in 2 court-ordered assessments. The Superior Court-ordered custody assessment removed the mother's 7-year interim custody of Amy once the OPP and the CAS wrongdoing was exposed. Sole custody of Amy was given to her father without access to her mother or the child's protection. These outstanding crimes to that child named Amy, who is now seeking justice as an adult on ODSP with complex PTSD from years of childhood trauma. The Ontario Provincial Police today are criminally continuing to cover up these outstanding child abuse crimes that they are implicated in. This is causing and triggering Amy's PTSD condition to worsen. Amy has been arrested by the Ontario Provincial Police at 28 years of age after multiple 911 calls for over a period of a year. She's been demanding justice for the 7 years of abuses she had to endure because of her unfit mother, and this Ontario Provincial Police and Children's Aid Society cover-up that's been exposed. Amy's doctor at Cornwall Hospital was Katerina Nikolic, who inquired with OPP Constable Jim Blanchette of the Long Sioux Detachment about the information she was receiving from both Amy and her father about past childhood abuses, including aggravated assault and abduction from her mother. OPP Constable Jim Blanchette responded to Dr. Nikolic with false and misleading information, saying the father's and Amy's information has been fully investigated and nothing was found. Investigations done by the OPP Professional Standards Bureau finding misconduct in not pressing assault charges against the mother and the finding of the Superior Court-ordered assessment for custody exposed the OPP-CAS wrongdoing and cover-up, proves this officer's information's a lie. Dr. Nikolic, believing Constable Blanchette's misinformation, changed Amy's diagnosis from PTSD to psychosis schizophrenia, which she is sharing this illness with her father, Faliadu. Dr. Nikolic and the OPP used this new schizophrenic diagnosis against the father in court ex parte, saying his delusions are feeding into Amy's psychosis, and establish a no-contact order to Amy with her father. Once the no-contact order was in place, that removed the father's ability to be Amy's substitute decision-maker when it came to treatment and medications. The father was no longer able to protect his daughter from the onslaught of inappropriate antipsychotics forced upon Amy, none that helped and all causing her harm. The father then submitted to a psychiatric assessment to clear the slander that Amy's child abuses and the OPP-CAS cover-up of such wasn't psychosis, schizophrenia. After 18 months of Amy being detained in hospital custody for several different antipsychotics that did no good, the assessment came back that the father does not suffer from schizophrenia, and the OPP and the Children's Aid Society cover-up of child abuse and abduction is not psychosis. The father submitted this assessment findings to the hospital to get Amy's misdiagnosis of schizophrenia and forced treatment stopped, but the Brockville Royal Treatment Unit refused to reverse Amy's diagnosis back to PTSD, which 6 other psychiatric and psychological assessments say she is suffering from. At the time of the release of this video, Amy has been held in custody and forced medicated for over 3 years with antipsychotics, and still not allowed any contact to her father. Amy is a child domestic violence survivor She should be treated with dignity and respect. She wants her voice heard. But the OPP have lied to shut her down and to criminally cover up the crimes against her as a child that they are implicated in. Please help give Amy a voice in any way you can. Contact can be made through Act Audit at AOL.com. The following recordings with OPP nurse and the OPP sergeant, as well as a video of a 911 call and the 911 call leading to Amy's arrest, will all follow. Please like and subscribe.
Hi there.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good.
That's good. I'm Steve and that's Amy.
Yeah.
Hi, Amy.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, we do have some notes and things too, but
That's fine.
I'll let you carry on the conversation first off. I don't know if you know much about her case, but
Well, I was able to talk to you and Dave, so I have an idea.
okay.
Yeah.
I can't really help you
That aspect of
with
it.
that part of it, except to say that I got an email from Dave this morning, and apparently they have put an officer in place to review your file.
Good.
Yeah.
So at least they're looking into it because
Well, look at this.
Yeah.
You see,
He's a purebred poodle teacup.
yeah.
He's really well behaved.
his girlfriend's at home. She's just a small one. She's black.
And we have 2 cats and a dog. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got one kitten I'm
That's
trying to get
good.
rid of now.
Especially with COVID, people stuck in their homes. Cats are a nice thing for them to have. Right now.
Yeah. So basically, what I want to know from you, Amy, is do you receive any services whatsoever? Are you getting
No.
any? Have you ever had services?
No.
Well, you can't say that.
No.
You've been
Wait, what do you
admitted
mean?
It means you've been admitted to the hospital, you've seen
Yeah.
a psychologist. We have psychological documentation of your condition from the age of 5,
Yeah.
where you're severely learning language disabled from that point, from the psychologist, from witnessing violence in the home. But the violence continued.
Yeah.
It continued.
I remember my mom throwing stuff at me, driving me by my shirt, by scuffing my neck.
Now, just because you work with the police, what she's telling you
It's the truth.
happened. It
I
happened.
don't boo.
Yeah, but it happened while she was under a non-harassment order from the
Yeah,
courts.
we have the proof of that.
And she has a right to charge for that harassment.
Okay.
And the police are ignoring those as well. Her rights are being denied.
Yeah, I'm being denied. We're about ready to go to the justice
Now,
peace.
we're quite certain that the Crown's involved in this because David Badinsky said that she could charge her mother. There's
Yes.
no question about that, but Ottawa has to do it. So he says, give me a week because I don't have no...
And it went on 2 weeks
And
before
then he
they got back.
and said, no. And then he says, there won't be any charges at all. And I thought, what's going on here?
I was 2
And
years old at the
his tone of
time.
voice had changed. I've been around people a long time and I know how to read voices. So I know he's been told, drop this case now. Because when she was assaulted that night, the OPP helped to abduct her later on and took her to a shelter. And against all the records and documentation I got, that the police said she was not allowed to leave the home that night because Children's Aid was involved and committed to looking into her aggravated assault. But 5 hours later, the police ended up assisting her to go to the shelter. So that's why she has a right to information being a victim under C-32. And she is going to be requesting, she was talking to me this weekend, and she's requesting for all
That's
police
why I
notes
went and looked up
of that evening of the assault of October 22nd.
I have the records. Well, we have the records
So
here,
you were
and
physically abused by your
I was all the time.
Yeah, she was
Any
2.5.
sexual abuse?
We went to a hospital and
That was
Children's
Children's Aid,
Aid forced a exam done on me.
Yeah.
I kept saying no, and I was crying. My dad
And
My dad was in the
tugged her
room.
pants down because they wanted to check to see if she was a virgin. Because she was cooperating with me, all of a sudden Children's Aid said something's wrong here.
I left
She
the
had a black
hospital
eye.
crying.
And,
But you're not sure.
well,
I remember it. I remember crying a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I left the hospital, and I remember them giving me a freezy.
She was about
Stop me
8
from crying.
years old then, and I told them you can't do this to her without a court order, and they said, sir, if you don't let us do it, you ain't taking her home tonight. So I told Amy, if you want to come home, you have to do this, and she was crying.
Yeah, I remember.
I was crying.
So all of this
That's just another
ordeal that this bad card you've been given in life, how are you coping with that? Are you able to sleep?
I'm not sleeping very well because I want to get this court case done, and it sounds like the police officer is turning me down, and I feel like I'm a victim by the police.
When she was in the hospital, they pumped her full of injections. 30-day
Yeah, they kept giving me needles.
For schizophrenia. The last day she was there, he thought she's schizophrenic, and he gave her the needle. And I came to bring her home.
I was dizzy. I was staggering. I was having problems talking.
She was totally out of the whack. I thought next to death for days and days.
And when did this occur?
3 months ago.
Yeah.
You went to the hospital? What hospital?
The OPP told her to go.
The OPP told me to go to Brockville.
Because she called 911 twice because she got online with an American lawyer hoping that he could help break this open.
So did the Brockville psychiatric unit? Or?
Yeah. Yeah, he had a lawyer
It
under
was
his name.
actually the general hospital though. She didn't have to go to Elmville. That's where her mother's been staying a lot though. Or whatever they call that place.
And you saw a doctor there, a psychiatrist?
Yeah, but I was sleeping in my room most of the time because I was not wanting to be there.
Oh,
I
so
did come out to eat though.
So you had an admission?
Yeah.
Was it a voluntary admission?
Yeah.
But then they locked her up and they wouldn't let her out for a bit. And then,
Then I realized I had to start cooperating when I got the lawyer on
and
the
then
phone.
within the 14 days they realized, whoa, this story's true what happened to her. She's not probably schizophrenic, and they let her out before that 14-day trial came because they realized they maybe get in
They were
trouble.
trying to hold me longer, and I was telling them that the lawyer told me I was going to be out Monday.
So I've explained to her we don't go to the hospital.
And they then refer you to any outside programs?
Yes.
No, did they?
Yeah.
Just Kim?
No, well, they were all ones you have to go to Ottawa and pay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah, it's
she's
therapist.
on ODSP. So is her. Now she's not the only victim.
You're on ODSP?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so is her sister and her brother, because all three are severely disabled from all this violence in the home from the schizophrenic mother beating on us all. Children, they knew it. They just told her to try to count to 5. But nonetheless, I knew it was wrong and damaging to the children.
Okay. So no counseling per se?
I've never had counseling,
Well,
ever growing up.
you got to remember,
Wait,
talked
what
to
you
how many
did?
crisis counselors have you talked to in the last 2
Oh,
weeks?
I did talk to a children aid one to report abuse that happened with my mother. And they said we're going to
But
Get-
did you get therapy or is
No, they
just
never
like,
did.
like me and you?
The Children Aid Society kept me with the mother for abuse. They were trying to get rid of my dad. Now
That
he's
was a long
being
time
threatened to
ago
be
you're talking
arrested,
about.
and now I'm coming forward.
Yeah,
I'm
she's
looking
getting-
for
her anxiety levels just off the chart since they
Yeah,
said
because they're
wanna arrest
denying
us.
me for my rights at 2 years old
'Cause
for charging my
yeah.
mother and kidnapping me
As you
when
can
I was
see,
younger.
You're making her sicker by doing this to her. And that's why I told
So
her
you
this.
have anxiety?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I contacted my mom a long time ago, but she never contacted me back. So I figured she doesn't want to be a mom, doesn't want to talk to me. So
So what does the anxiety look like? Do you get panic attacks?
No.
Or are you
No, I'm
someone
eating
that worries
unhealthy.
excessively? Or-
no,
She'll get angry and she drinks.
I get frustrated. That's why when I was in the hospital, I realized I can't be angry because I don't.
They're
Get
not,
out much.
Nobody's listening to her, and I told her
Yeah.
we just gotta wait. They don't understand.
Yeah.
And depression, did you find that you're tearful?
No.
You know, are you feeling depressed?
No. Well, a little bit since I feel the cops are covering this up, and I'm not allowed to press charges, which I should be allowed.
You have been saying you're depressed, and that's why you're drinking yourself so badly, though.
Yeah, I didn't drink last night though,
You might
but I
let them
didn't
know
sleep.
that it's causing you the harm. They're causing the harm. They're
Because I was
instigating.
thinking about this reason why my rights are being denied.
Well, you are a victim, and you've got to be referred to this program. And the police are supposed to refer, but the problem being, there's been no charges. So until there's charges, she can't get in the victim witness program. And she needs to be in that for not only counseling, but for legal help. And they give it all. And there won't be any charges for her for that. Now, Dr. Dennessy says, well, you could call them yourselves. And I'm thinking, I read the article and it says, maybe I don't need to be, but it's supposed to be for victims of crime. Now, the reason the police aren't is because they will not admit she's a victim of crime.
Yep,
And
exactly.
Even David Vidinsky is not admitting anymore that she's a victim of a childhood crime.
Yeah.
So it's very upsetting right now. Because, that's why I'm glad to hear that he's got an officer looking into this, because
Yeah,
there is only one direction here, and it's not to pass her off anymore. It's to deal with the issue. We have a court clinic assessment, which is more powerful than the police. It says that the police must assist in this order, and he wanted a court clinic assessment because I told him 6 days after she was assaulted, the police and children's aid were covering it up. Fox was asking for costs, and it took 7 years to get her out of that mess. So they just are looking at this as, boy, like St. Anne's, the Crown Attorney and the police are covering up evidence of a crime against a child.
they did threaten my dad to put him in jail, and that's why I'm about ready to call. That's why I want someone to call the Ottawa hospital and ask them why I can't press charges, because I want charges pressed.
Yeah.
And that officer did tell us that he could press charges. Now he's telling me I cannot.
That's because Bedinsky was slapped down probably by the crime.
Yeah, we believe
He's
this.
more worried about his job than doing what's right by the law, from what I understand.
So if we look at depression, you say your sleep is okay, or is not as
She didn't sleep last night.
I didn't
She was
sleep last
anxious.
night
She was
'cause-
happy about this meeting. Someone's finally addressing her problem. I told him he probably won't get very far with this
interests.
fella.
You find your interests are okay, the
Yeah.
same? They're okay. Do you have any guilt or regrets about anything that you focus on?
No.
Your energy level is okay?
Yep.
Your concentration is okay? Your appetite is okay?
Yep.
Any thoughts of hurting yourself?
No.
Do you ever think that you don't care if you wake up tomorrow morning?
I want this fixed. I do want charges against my mother. That's why I have this paperwork here. I went and found online because we're about ready to go to justice of peace because we really feel this is being ignored.
Well, that's what David should have done.
Are you feeling sad or do you
No.
cry?
No.
Are you more irritable? Are you getting angry for nothing?
I felt that way when I was in the hospital and they kept giving me needles. That's why I had to shut my mouth and just take the pills and shut up.
Yeah, but it's not something that occurs all
That's
the
why I
time.
started getting dizzy and I was getting staggering and wasn't focusing.
Okay.
Now I'm off the pills for about 3 months now.
Do you take any meds?
No, I'm not on anything.
All three, her and her two siblings.
Have you ever taken medications?
When I was in the hospital, they pumped me full of medicine when I was
3
there.
weeks ago.
Yep. When I got out of the hospital, I was taking them, but I was feeling really dizzy and wasn't concentrating very
It was a
well.
couple, 2 or 3 months ago. You were saying.
I was slurred in my speech, too, when I was on them.
Oh, you're walking really funny. You're going around like this all the time, really slow. What the hell did they do to you?
Yeah, I know they kept giving me needles and I really didn't want to take them, but I had to shut up.
And then she wasn't doing anything, cooking, feeding, nothing. She just was a dead, almost like, yeah, it was lifeless. So I was glad that finally wore off. And then it was only because another nurse, when she heard that this stuff was true, that she was telling the doctor, that realized she may not have schizophrenia as trauma. And they have her and her two siblings have all been diagnosed with PSTD from these events. And
Yeah.
I got
Growing up
the
with it.
psychologist examinations. They are all classified as incapacitated within the last year. It's impacting on them all. Only Amy's here because she's the one that took most of the assaults and the abuse. But the other two siblings have reported to the police 6 years ago too, all the violence that they witnessed growing up.
Okay.
And it's a horrible thing to allow that, but police do.
So you have a diagnosis of PTSD.
Yes.
Yeah. all
Any
three
other
of them.
diagnoses?
No.
And who did this diagnosis? Somebody?
Who?
The incapacitation psychologists did it. And your family doctor as
Doctor,
well.
yeah.
Who is your family doctor?
Of
Sure, okay.
Manotick Medical Center.
From where?
The Medical Manotick Center.
Okay. How's your health?
And that's the other
Good.
psychologist
Yeah,
as
I'm
well.
doing good.
want her name, it's the psychologist that determined her and her siblings all incapacitated for court purposes or questioning or legal purposes. So she should be having a lawyer to represent her.
Yeah,
for
I want to get a
everything.
lawyer.
And that's where that Victims Crisis Center will help.
Okay. Um, So who lives with you? You live with your dad?
No, I live alone.
You live at home with your dog?
Yeah. I have 2 cats and 3 dogs, and I have puppies coming, and I have 1 kitten currently getting rid of.
You're busy with that?
Yeah.
And then you have 2 sisters or
I got a sister and a brother.
one sister? Are they younger, older?
Younger.
And do they live with you?
They actually live together, but my daughter's hanging out with a boyfriend, which is good. She's finally got out of the home a little bit. And I've been hanging out with my son over at their house. I do live with Amy, but with her difficulties lately, I've given her more space and I've been hanging out with my son. We're only about a mile apart, so it's not like we're far away.
Do you have anyone that you talk to?
No, I don't at all.
She talks to me every day.
Yeah, I talk to my dad.
The
That's,
last 2 weeks, about 8 hours a day because she's.
I'm getting anxious because now I'm
What's
hearing that the
happening
police
right now?
officer, because my dad was on the phone with me and the police officer didn't want the merge call. And I wanted the call merged because I want to know what was going on.
They're covering up her assault.
Yeah, he wouldn't let the call be merged.
He
the
said
police
this was
officer.
taken care of it when the police professional
And it
standards
never
bureau
has.
came, and I said that was 2 years later. No, they didn't. They left her being abused for 5 more years.
Have you ever talked to your family doctor about this?
The family doctor does know about it.
And
It's the same doctor we
It's a
have.
police matter, and
Yeah, okay.
that we've talked
He's
to.
never offered to prescribe you medication?
No, I've never been on medication my entire life.
Okay. Well, there's a role sometimes for them. The antidepressants today are quite safe. They help with both depression and anxiety. So in your case, not able to make a big case for depression except that, the PTSD part.
Yeah.
But the anxiety, you're worried and you're constantly fretting about this. So they take 6 to 8 weeks to have effect. They usually start you at the lowest dose.
Yeah.
And within a couple of weeks, your dad may notice that, you're not as anxious. You yourself may take you 3 to 4 weeks. And then they take 6 to 8 weeks to have a full effect.
Yeah, but I really don't want to be on any pills.
Okay, I'm just doing my nursing sales pitch.
It's sort
There
of
is a role for medication.
Yeah, like she's
You
cut,
know?
and that's
Yeah.
sort of like a Band-Aid, and it's more important to take care of the cut. And she realizes this too. Like the
Yeah.
hospital could put her on all those psychotropes that made her not think anymore,
Yeah.
but it wasn't taking care of the issue that's making her this way and kept
No
her.
free ride with medication.
No.
So I take a cholesterol pill and it keeps my cholesterol in check, but I get cramps at night.
Yeah.
And to me that's a fair trade-off.
Yeah,
So every medication is different and everyone tolerates them differently.
Now, our psychologist David Armstrong said it very clearly to me, and I agreed with 100%. That was about 8 years ago. That they're all suffering and they're not going to heal until they get closure.
Yeah.
But this has to be dealt with, unless, like you say, medicating to the point where it doesn't mean anything anymore, which I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
I've taught them to be not only Christian but good citizens, and if someone's raped, you got to come up and expose the rape. Or if children have been abused, we've got to stand forward and bring our evidence. The police can try to suppress it, but there is a law here. And what's concerning us now, since we've been dealing with David, we're starting to get reinforced that the police are breaking the law more.
Yes.
Because he, as an officer, knows the assault
He
happened.
should have went to the
And he said,
Justice of the Peace, and he's not.
Because he said Ottawa has to handle this. So he called Ottawa, he gave him the chances, Ottawa won't do it. And he says, so nothing can be done.
That's why I got
And I
this
thought-
here. Not
I
only
knew he
supposed
was
to
lying,
assist.
because something can be done. He's still a police officer. This is still assault against a child. So he has a duty to go to the Justice of the Peace, and he should be doing it this afternoon, if not tomorrow morning for her. and ask for an order that the Ottawa police are to proceed in this matter. He doesn't have the authority to make them, but the justice does. And it took me a conversation over half an hour on the phone with him, and he slowly let that out that an order would do it. And he said it quietly, not like his normal voice. So I know he's suppressing everything. Not only that.
And he wouldn't talk to me.
Yeah, and I can't charge.
And yeah.
They can't. They're not going to do anything.
And they want to put my dad in jail. They already said if they keep calling. That's why I want someone here to call Ottawa.
So him getting another police
and I
officer.
want something done.
Yeah. And you know, I told her if he doesn't do it, we're going to have to do it ourselves. 'Cause obviously, he is now breaking the law. He is not doing what he's supposed to. He knows that she was assaulted, and he thought
he said he was going to. Yeah.
And this is what's making her sick. And
again, I'm a nurse.
No, I understand. You're working with the police, though, and I want you to know who you're
not
working
really.
with.
I'm a resource to them.
See, my son grew up wanting to be a police officer, and when this all happened, he thinks they're dirty, and he doesn't want nothing to do with them. And I really feel bad for him because he's been in the home and has no friends. He hasn't been out of the house for years. The only time he goes out is when he goes shopping with me. Now he's a young man now. You know, he's 22 years old. He should be out there having fun with friends and that. So it's an awful way for the social phobia that all three of them have, because knowing growing up that Children's Aid had done this.
So do you have a social phobia? Are you afraid to leave your home or?
No.
Okay.
Do you ever go at the home without me?
I don't have a driver's license.
Have you ever left the home without me though in your life?
No.
Have you ever worked in your lifetime?
When I was in co-op in high school. I worked at a thrift store and also at daycare.
You completed high school?
No. She had a 2-year special course.
Okay.
But whenever she went in the auditorium, she made pass out. So the teacher was very good to be always on her side, get her out of if she was in that crowded area, if it was starting to overcome her.
I wasn't allowed to sit down, so I blacked out.
Yeah. So
they told us not to sit down, so I kept standing. The room was really hot, so I blacked out.
Her brother and sister couldn't get past grade 8. The phobias on them just got to a point, so they've got grade 8 only. And I worked with psychologist David Armstrong for quite a while with them. And again, the traumas that they're enduring because of society, they're really don't trust.
Dad mentioned some drinking. How much drinking are we doing?
I've cut down, but still, I didn't drink last night, but I didn't sleep.
So what's drinking? Wine, beer?
I used to drink about 12 beer.
Every day?
Yeah, every day. Now I drink wine. It's easy to get rid of because the beer cans are a pain in the ass.
And she's down to probably a third of the volume she was doing before she went in the hospital. And she was doing that volume for about 2 years straight.
Any drugs?
Just marijuana. But I only started doing that 2 years ago. I never smoked it when I was in high school at all.
No, she's having seizures and she found it was stopping
her
seizures.
How much pot are we smoking?
I don't smoke that much.
Okay. Is that something that you're looking to get help with, is reducing your drinking?
I tried a little bit, but they want me to do these programs that I don't think are going to help.
Like she wants someone to call at night when she's about to drink and someone to talk to keep her up. Then she won't drink. But there's nobody, so she's there alone, looking at the walls, and that's it. There's no one to call. No one's going to listen to me. She's called crisis lines.
I have called crisis lines.
And you find that helpful?
No, not really.
Now, the most recent crisis line, she's probably called about 5 crisis lines in the last couple of weeks. And they're all telling her this is a police matter.
Yes, they are.
The latest, the police have been telling her to call the crisis line.
And they said to go public too, is CTV.
They told her to go to CTV, go public. There's not much they can do for her other than she's handling it the best she can by trying to deal with this problem in her life.
I've been going through court and my court case is still open.
You know,
are you interested in any counseling?
Possibly, but I want certain type of counseling.
Yeah, it should be.
You want what?
Certain type of counseling.
Which is?
Childhood trauma counselor. Preferably through the victim witness program. She needs to be working with people that understand what she's been through and not people that are kind of.
So I don't know if we have anything like that through the hospital. It's more of a general counseling. So I can make a call to find out if someone is kind of experienced with that. But aside from that, top of my head, I'm not aware of anyone that
What
has
about the
that.
assaults? I want the charges. Because the police officer sounded he's letting it go.
Again, I don't have control. What I
Why
want
can't somebody
is
look at my case? Because I have the
there
paperwork
is
here.
somebody apparently looking at your case.
Yeah, we didn't know about
Yeah,
that.
but
That's
it's a
new
police
to us.
matter. That's
Yeah.
why they're supposed to take it to justice of the peace. And they're not
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
The police officer just
For
wouldn't
some
let
reason
me
they're
talk.
denying it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to offer something to help you with your PTSD, or
I want
I'm
police
trying to
help.
see
That's why I
if
came
you're
to the cop
interested
station.
in withdrawal management, to see if you want to reduce your drinking.
I did try to call alcohol people twice.
Yeah, and
But then it's just no one to talk to. That's it.
yeah, so in your case, there will be some withdrawals as they decrease the amount of drinking.
I did have a seizure last night. I
Yeah,
was
went
getting
on
face twitching. I was
Well,
getting
better
facial
than
twitching,
having
but I
3 to
didn't
5 a
drink.
day like you were having for months on end.
Yeah. I was getting buzzing in the brain. And I never had my epilepsy looked at. I was actually getting twitching in the hospital. I had to say something because I was getting twitching in the corner of the eye. That leads to like a headache and a brain buzzing feeling in the frontal lobe of the forehead.
There's a lot of medicines for seizures, but like I say, you gotta stop drinking more, and then we'll see if it's the drinking that's causing it too.
Exactly. You know,
It seemed to be, because when she was drinking very heavily, she was having seizures regularly, like it was just like having breakfast.
I have videos of it.
yeah.
Lots of them, yeah.
And that can occur with, usually is when you cut back on your drinking. How long have you been drinking excessively?
Since we've been in court.
Which is
2016. The police sent her to civil court, and then
Yeah,
found
I've been
out
through
later
court
she
for a
can't
while.
handle this, so.
so I can refer you to that program, but if you're not sold on it today,
Yeah. I want the police officer to look at my paperwork because they're supposed to assist.
yeah.
Because I was 2 years old at the time and my mother did abduct me. And my dad did call the cops that day, and they know. And the cops were coming to the house because Johnny told them to come to the house. And I have paperwork to prove it.
Yeah, and I can
I have police reports.
Yeah, I know. I can refer you to the hospital counseling. But as far as a specialty in child and trauma counseling, I don't know.
She was wanting to go back to the hospital, and I explained to her, they're not gonna help you with this. All they're going to do is give you medication so you don't frustrate.
I'm not
over it.
offering medication. I gave her my thoughts on it. I
Yeah.
have social workers that I work with, and they're dead against medication. There is
Yeah.
a role for medication.
Yeah.
It can sometimes work with
Oh, yeah,
counseling.
it helps sometimes.
You know, I've got an aunt that's Ricky this and Ricky that, and she's actually suffers from major depression and has anxiety, and she
Yeah,
does-
but I don't drive. I don't leave the house. There's nowhere to go at all.
Yeah, yeah,
And I have no one to talk to, and it's been like that since I got out of high school.
yeah.
And I've given up my work the last 6 months. I've pretty well closed.
That's why I'm here at the cop. The reason why I'm at the cop
We
station.
gotta get on it.
I probably wouldn't have went if I went to the hospital. The reason why I'm here is because it's a cop matter.
Yeah. Well, and the reason Dave asked me to talk to you is because, this is a new program. So I'm a mental health crisis team worker who's now been offered a job with OPP. And so, in the past, police would respond to a call, and if they were unsure.
How come the police officer is not going to justice of the peace and denying my rights
It's the
at
same
2
with-
years old?
Same with your
I don't know.
psychologist.
I don't know all the specifics of the law. That's not my specialty.
You know, when you were 5, a psychologist knew you were severely disabled from witnessing
Yeah.
violence, and she
I
didn't come
kept-
forward.
Yeah.
But yet these people are supposed to come forward when they know there's abuse to a child. That's what their degrees are for. But yet you can tell him, but he has no way of doing anything. He may be able to call Children's Aid and say, look, sounds like you abused this child, but that's not very good. It's not helping the problem. What you should be doing and what every professional should be doing is helping her get access to victims of crime. She's a victim of crime. For anybody to go around it try to drug her, or even counsel her is a good thing for anyone, but it's not going to change her mind. She knows what's right from wrong. And these police officers
And
turning their
have you
back on her.
called?
It says
victim-
right in here
have
that
you-
police officers are supposed to help.
Have you called victim services?
But it says on there that once you're referred by a police, once the charges have been laid, you will be referred to our services. And I
That's
guess
why I'm
that's
laying
why they're not
charges.
referring them, because they've never laid charges for all these assaults.
And we have police reports showing what happened that day here. And nobody's looking at the evidence we have. They just keep shutting me down. And that's why I'm speaking up for the first time.
Now, I have a court order that says OPP and Ottawa Police are to assist in this matter, and they're both ignoring that. So as far as I'm concerned, the police are contempt of court. So, you know, we're dealing with criminal people who are wearing officers' uniforms. And it's really upsetting. And I'm not paranoid. I've got the proof of this stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously they're covering up what happened there, and they don't want her to get, well, restitution will be an answer once they get down the right road and start with, but to not investigate child abuse is the plan.
So this is the number I have for victim
Okay.
services.
Yep.
And you can call them. I don't think you need a police referral. You
Yeah,
just
that's what I'm
need to-
wondering too.
Can we have that called as of now with you here? Because,
Sure.
yeah.
It's not connected. And I didn't ring
See
my
if I had
phone.
my phone, but it didn't ask me to call.
You got your phone on. I can't use mine.
I'm locked out.
Ah, now you got your locked out.
I'll be right back.
Thank you. Is this it?
Yeah.
I don't want to call Ottawa and be arrested.
Yeah, I want Ottawa. I want to be arrested. Okay. Tell them to arrest me.
See, I told you to get frustrated. Just calm, no, keep calm, breathe. He's not going to get anywhere for you.
Yeah.
He's not doing what you want done.
No.
You've reached Victim Services and Koala Place. Pour le service en français, faites le 9. If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 911. If you know the extension of the person you want to reach, please dial it now. If you would like to access the staff directory, please press 1. For hours of operation and our address, please press 2. To leave a message, please press 3. Thank you and have a great day.
I guess you have to leave a message.
Well, that's where you start, and then they get back to you.
Okay.
Now I write a report.
Reach Koala Place Victim
of
Services. We are unable
Yeah.
to take your
this.
call right now. Please leave us a detailed message and
so-
we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
So Amy,
Yes, I'm calling.
your phone number?
You want to use my dad's phone number? You're about to use my dad's
Yeah,
phone
okay,
number.
I've got that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Nobody
I
likes
can
you.
also fax this to your family doctor if you want.
There's something else I would like to ask. Is it possible if you can call Ottawa and ask them why they won't press charges?
Well, I'll leave that to Dave. That's his job. Like I said, I'm a mental
Yeah.
health nurse.
She's wanting to call
He's-
and get arrested.
Yeah, I want to get
They said
arrested.
They'll arrest her.
You want to be arrested.
Yes,
Yeah.
because
She wants
because
to
I
get to
want
a
these
judge.
charges. I'm in court. I want charges laid. They're not laying charges. Come arrest me.
They've
I was 2
threatened
years
to
old.
arrest her,
They
so I-
threatened to arrest my dad. I want to be arrested now. My turn.
So I said, if you call about this, they're going to arrest you. And
Yeah.
She says,
I want
you."
this called.
I said,
right
you
now.
will get a judge.
Yeah.
So
And
I want a
don't
police
think
officer.
They will
to
arrest
do
her
this.
because, like I say, they're trying to keep this covered
Yeah.
up.
So I want someone. I want this done.
Now I'm quite concerned Because I feel now the Crown attorneys got involved in covering up her assault, and that's where maybe David Beninsky's been ordered to back off. Otherwise, he would have did his job and went to see the justice of the peace. 'Cause he told
And yeah,
us he
it
had
says
the
right
right.
here he's supposed to report it.
Yeah.
And he's
So
shutting me
He's
up.
avoiding that, and I'm thinking, okay, now why is he turned on her all of a sudden since he?
Because he
talked
said I
about
could
it?
press charges, it's clear here, and now
And
he's
see,
turned on me.
And 5 hours after the assault that the police had
So-
documented, they assisted her to go to a shelter with the abuser. And that's why they realized the abduction that she wants to charge for as well as the assault that day.
I was
They
a child.
assisted it in. Not only did they assist in the abduction, but they covered up her assault. And it took me 2 years to get the Professional Police Standards Bureau to find out there's definitely was assault that night. And that's why David said it was taken care of. I said, no, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was never taken care of. That's why I wanted to be
No charges
arrested.
were ever laid, and they just said, take the paperwork to Children's Aid, and this will help you get your daughter away from the mother. And Children's Aid looked at it and said, this has no binding impact on us. And they threw it in my face, and they left me in the house being beaten for another 5 years with the children. I wouldn't leave them. We were legally separated. I slept on the couch. She slept in the bedroom. And the court said, till signed a court clinic assessment, you're legally separated. This is for custody, because I told them that the police and Children's Aid were covering up her assaults. And the court clinic did make the finding that that's exactly what happened. Not only the police didn't do their job in pressing assault charges when clearly assault charges were needed to be applied, but Children's Aid committed, it was on the police documents, to protecting the child. And a few hours later, they never followed through and they abandoned it. And outside the courtroom 2 years after her assault, I heard the lawyer and the Children's Aid workers saying, we don't want the judge to find out what happened 2 years ago. So I know that they were working, the legal department and Children's Aid were working at covering up her assault. So it's gone on so long, and seeing the police still doing it, that's why we realized the police helped in that abduction, and I'm pretty sure there was conversations between Children's Aid and the police
Yeah.
when she was taken to the shelter that night, and I want those records. The OPP would have them.
Yeah.
She has a right to information.
Yes, that's what it says here. I have right to information, and I want
And
that
I also
information.
I know the police officer, when he came out, when I called 911 and I was bleeding, holding her.
Yeah.
And they witnessed.
We have that.
The
I don't
officer
know
said,
what
you know what?
their policies are, but I know with the hospital, I can't just give you the records. You have
No.
to go to the record department and then
That's-
sign something to say that you're taking your own, but you're allowed to have your documents.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
You
get
gotta
those.
go through there, so whatever it is for OPP, you need to contact their medical
Yeah.
records or their record department,
Yeah.
and do that. Again, from my point of view, I'm sorry that this has occurred to you. I always say you were given.
I wasn't
a bad
able to
card.
concentrate in school at all
Yeah.
during this because of my mother's assaults.
If you're interested in the alcohol, would.
This is not being looked at, and I still feel it's being covered up. I wanted a police officer here to listen to this because it's a police matter.
Yeah,
I was
sure there'd
hoping
be a
the police
policeman
officer
here.
would come.
Yeah.
Not to put him on the spot for
I
what
think
we're doing.
Dave was more hoping that I can help you out with possibly what I'm offering you is the counseling.
I want to this is a police matter though.
Yeah, I know.
But he's turning me down. He wouldn't talk to me on the phone. He says, no, we don't want no third party. And it's
He
like, come
seemed
on.
happy you were involved. He says, I hope maybe he can help Amy understand and trust me more.
Yeah.
And since that day, she's
No.
lost a lot of trust. And it's not because
I
of
am
you.
not.
It's
I'm
because
not
what
trusting
she's
no.
put together, everything they're doing, and the obvious thoughts of why they're doing it. It's only clear why they're doing it. It's really upsetting
Now,
to see.
can you call Ottawa and tell them I want to be arrested
I don't.
for the charges? Because
No.
I want the charges.
I don't do that part.
You're gonna make me call.
Yeah, well, if you
You wanna
they'll
call?
arrest her.
I have no grounds of calling OPP and having you arrested for something that I don't know all the details.
we have it
a duty to
here.
report abuse, but it's been reported.
That's why, and I'm trying to get my charges. It says right here,
Yeah.
the police officer is supposed to go to the justice of the peace, and he's not doing it. He just basically gave me a doctor.
Yeah, the Ottawa police have to be ordered to investigate this
Yeah.
assault.
I'm sorry, I've tried to offer you what I can offer you, but the rest I have no control over.
No.
But we're at a police station, and this is a police matter.
Yes, but I'm not police. I'm a nurse.
He's stuck.
Oh,
I thought you'd be a liaison between the two to try to get your message
I'm
to the
here
police.
because there are situations, like, let's use the bad example of the USA. Instead of shooting somebody 7 times in the back,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I come in and I try and make things.
Yeah.
But it's not helping.
That's
I'm
what
not
we're
getting
seeing
help.
here. The cops
The
are.
best example I use is there was a kid with trouble with the law in the past, and mom came over and they had an argument, and he made a threat that he was going to kill himself. Police responded. It was a house with a bunch of guys living together, so there was a potential
Yeah.
for danger. And
My dad did report it though.
And then after, when police got there, he said, no, it was all frustration. He says, now I guess I have to go to
My
the
mother
hospital.
was allowed to take me.
He said, now I guess I have to go to hospital because I said I was suicidal, and I came up from behind and I says, I'm the hospital. And he never had to go to the hospital because it was made out of frustration. So that's what my job is about.
Well, what about the police matter of this? The police is not doing its duty.
Then
And it says that right here.
You need to follow up with police.
Yeah, that's the same
You
way.
don't get the nurse to follow up with police. You have to follow up with
Okay, that's where we thought different. We thought they brought you in to be in between to try to get them to understand how she's feeling and that their actions are making her more sick. That's what we thought. You're going to use your professional to say, what are you doing to this poor child? Why are you torturing her to this day? She shouldn't be tortured. She's been tortured.
Yeah.
She should be empowered and she should have a voice. And I don't know
I'm
if
looking
you
for a lawyer, but I can't get
If you
one.
disagree with that, you can meet your maker at the end of your lifetime too. But people who are ignoring her, I don't have a lot. Like when it comes to child abuse, I don't have a lot of respect for anybody. I don't care what kind of uniform or if they're a parent. You don't abuse children. And when there's concerns, especially that can cause them mental anguish, it should be addressed, not let's pump them up with drugs. Or we'll give them counseling. Like Amy's always said, what am I supposed to do with counseling? They're going to teach me how to take this stuff up my ass. And excuse the expression, it's very rude, but that's her words. And in a sense, I can see where she's coming from there. She's well focused on what she wants to do to get better. The psychologists have clearly told us.
The helplines told us too.
Yeah, it'll give her closure. And if she doesn't get closure, she's never going to heal. And the way we get closure is to go forward with the police, get this thing taken care of, and then we can end this chapter of her life and our life.
In my mind, that's not good advice because you don't know if it's going to close.
But I'm in court and my court case is still open.
Yeah, so you don't know. So they're telling you you're going to only heal on something that may happen.
No, you're going to heal if you address the fears that you've got and what's happened to you.
Difference of opinions, I guess.
Yeah. Like the other way is if someone's hurting you, you go run and hide and you stay there. And if you think that's the answer, I don't. I think it's for them to heal is to come out and deal with this problem.
Makes me want to go back to the hospital because my rights.
She has no right to socialize herself and
Now I want to
say
go back
this
to the
is
hospital.
the right way to handle it. A doctor should be telling her, and like all doctors except you are telling her, you've got to take care of this problem or you're not going to heal. You'll stay trapped in your little cocoon in your little home and have this social phobia. And if she comes out and is empowered, I don't know why you don't understand, but when a child who's been abused has been given authority and power to speak up and their voice is heard, it actually heals them.
That's why I'm trying to press charges because we do have police reports that day.
And
Can we have someone look at the police reports and tell me why?
Right now
That's why I want Ottawa to be called.
There is somebody looking at
He's
this.
shut me down. He wouldn't let me talk to him.
must be someone else he's putting on the case. I feel
Yeah.
sorry
I
for
don't
the
know.
guy,
Can
but
we have a response?
That's what I got in an email today from Dave was that
What-
somebody from OPP Ottawa is looking at your file.
Okay.
Are they still looking at it?
Well,
Oh, they don't, because I've
Well,
heard
that's
it's
from this
closed down
morning.
3 times. They said.
Yeah, so this was new news.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. What about this?
well,
You want to take that?
No, we'll take
I
that.
can look at it, but again, I don't know.
It's the OPP. The rules are supposed to follow for
Yeah.
child safety.
It's just in general. Again, it's not
These
your
are
job.
guidelines.
His job is not a police officer. His job is to try to help the people that they're dealing with in the medical side of it. And I can see a benefit to you having you here for sure. For a lot of people, especially if it's in a crisis where people are dealing with a mental person instead of them getting shoot or. And I know what you mean. You're coming from the States.
Is the officer going to contact us back or
I
what's
think
happening?
so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
He never
Yeah.
said that. He just wanted me to offer possible services to you.
Okay.
And I think you are struggling to some degree. It would be nice to be talking to a counselor about
Yeah.
all the stress that this has
How
caused you.
am I allowed to meet the counselor? It'd be much easier.
Well, yeah. Well, right now with COVID, everything is so
Yeah.
difficult. They have,
Yeah.
they use Zoom and they do telephone, but
Yeah,
they
that's
also
the thing.
do
I don't know how
face
to
to
use that.
face. They're starting to do face to face, but now the numbers are going up again.
That's
So-
what one alcohol place said, Zoom, and I didn't know how to use the app because I
Yeah,
don't know how to do the technology stuff,
yeah.
and I'm not. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm antisocial, so I
Yeah.
don't know how to do that technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm traumatized. Because actually, I had a seizure one day and I ripped my leg. I have photos on my phone. I was too scared to call 911. It was a deep cut. I stitched my own leg up. I have video of it. I also have seizure vids showing my seizures. I got it stitched up pretty good,
Yeah.
but it left a nasty scar because the stitches kept breaking open, and I had to restitch it again because it got infected. I had to pull the stitches out because the old stitches I put in was infecting with the skin. It was just needle and thread.
Yeah.
Doctor said you did a good job, though.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
It's tougher
sorry
than
it
I
wasn't
am.
more help than.
No, that's okay. I understand why you're brought in. You're just getting started off, but we appreciate what you're doing. We realize the services out there. We've talked about a few, but all the counselors lately have been telling her she's got to deal with this through the
That's
police.
why I feel like I have to go to
And
the
if the
hospital and
police
get
aren't gonna
arrested.
listen, you
That's
gotta
why I
go
want to be
public.
arrested. It makes me want to go to the Ottawa Police now.
Well, we got to get to the judge.
Can we go to the police?
If
Do
the
we have
police
to have
doesn't
it
do it,
slip?
I'll go back. I'll go down and see the justice of the peace myself and show them the court orders. I need an extension, or not extension, but of
Oh.
authority to get Ottawa Police to deal with this matter for you. And then once it's dealt with, it's dealt with.
Yeah, he's cute. I get a lot of people who don't like him.
Yeah.
His puppy's so fast.
Yeah,
Well, you're the next dog we're getting, as mine goes.
Yeah, I got a little back when she's pregnant, isn't her? Is
Yeah,
girlfriend
yeah.
now?
Yeah, I'm thinking around 2 puppies.
Nice meeting you, both.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. That battery's excellent. That meeting was around 48 minutes long. Tuesday, October 20th. It's 12:50.
Useless. It was useless.
It was useless.
June 1st, 6:37. OPP dispatch for David Brinsky.
Hello?
Hello, who's this?
It's Constable Wade. So the sergeant is just on the phone right now. Do you want to hold or do you want to call back? Or
If you think it's not going to take a long time, I'll hold. That's fine.
okay, all right.
Thank you.
Dave Badinski.
Hi, David. It's Steve Cox calling. How are you today, sir?
Mr. Cox, how are you, sir?
Oh, not bad. I'm sure they filled you in. Amy got a little bit bloodied up. And,
I understand. My partner filled me in this morning when he gave you a call, and I apologize for not being able to get to you last night. But we kind of got shot out of a cannon last night, and it was quite late before I had some free time.
it was something hard to watch.
And then I understand that Amy was not having a good day today.
No, she wasn't. I was on the phone with her from 2:30, and she just kept screaming, the cops aren't doing F all. The cops aren't doing F all. And I says, Amy, they're working with us. Let David Binsky call. If they give up, then we're going back to see the judge because he's waiting to hear. I said, no.
Okay.
But in any event, she's going to be charged with assault now, one of your officers told me. I said, that's fine. So she'll get a lawyer because I want to...
Sorry, who's going to be charged with assault?
Oh, Amy.
They laid a charge in that today?
One of the guys, when he was at the hospital, told me, he says, I'm going to charge your daughter with assault. And I thought, A little later, I heard the officers talking outside the room, and one of the guys said to the girl officer, "You've got a complaint in the office." She says, "I should go out and ticket his car for parking bad." And I thought, that's what we get with the police. You're revengeful, you abuse your power, and you beat my daughter up. When she's trying to tell them. Now, she did throw an empty beer can. I'm going to take a weight of it, because I picked up one of these empty beer cans. And he was 20 feet away, but she didn't throw it at him. She threw it at the car, and she yelled, "There, you get out of here in your car, and you looks good with your beer cans on it." And that's what she did. So he's going to charge her with assault to a police officer, throwing that. And I thought, go ahead. She's in mental distress. You came out here. I told you to leave. You didn't want to leave. You decided to take her in. And what bothered me is when the three men...
At that point, we don't have a chance, though, Steve.
Well,
we don't have a choice.
The three of them chased her down over the garbage pile that we got here full of sheet metal. And when they threw her down, they already had her hands. So her face hit the ground where all that tin and garbage was. And I thought, that's it. She's really going to be hurt here. Now, they weren't hurt because their bodies were on top of hers while her tits were hanging out in front of them. So they handcuffed her. Of course, the men had to pull her, once they got her up off the ground, pull her top up over her tits. And I noticed the blood coming down out of her face. And when I got to the hospital, I noticed the heavy bruising under the arms. All the same bruising that her mother did when she was 2.5 when she grabbed her. The same type of bruising, but to use it won't be assault. But throwing that can at that car will be. And that's the justification my daughter's got to try to synthesize in her head.
Steve, I have heard nothing from the officers that were involved today when I spoke to them, and I see nothing on any reports that indicates she's going to be charged.
I think he was mad, and it was just something he wanted to sort of...
Possibly might have... Regardless, I don't see anything with that yet, and if she hasn't been served any paperwork, I wouldn't be overly concerned about it.
Yeah.
She is at the moment at the hospital, which is where she needs to be.
Yep,
she has been going downhill for a while now.
Oh, yes, for 9 months, and she says you've been lying to her for 9 months.
Stop for you, for her, and for us. We don't want to be dealing with this either.
And she says, they've been lying to us. He said Ottawa's going to do it. Ottawa's going to do it. I says, Amy, I honestly do believe that he was right about that. Now, we've got clarification that that assault was their jurisdiction, and it is there. So they can either deny... And the judge told you it was assault. He told your Crown Attorney's office when they were in court with us, your lawyer for the Queen Right of Ontario, he says to the Crown lawyer, he says, this girl was assaulted. He says, you should be defending her. And then your Crown said to him, it's all on the paperwork, it'll be in the stenograph of the court.
And but we've been over that, Steve.
Yeah, so...
I think there's a couple things that I want to do with you tonight. The first is...
Let's see if you're getting the Crown in, because we need the Crown.
Now that Amy is at the Mulfor, or she's going up to the Mulfor, apparently,
she will
in the morning, which is great. I think that's what she needs. However, the downside to that is she's back in an Ottawa hospital, which means that there may be issues in regards to follow-up down here. So one of the things I'm going to work on tonight is trying to arrange for somebody on our side to kick some tires on the mental health side and see if they can link with the Mulfor Hospital so that when she's discharged, that we get services down here that can come and see her and try to... What Amy does not need is to have a bad day, have the police show up, apprehend her, go to the hospital, she gets a few drugs, she comes back home.
Exactly.
She's upset because she got the drugs. She's upset at us because we had to wrestle her because
and her doctor's
when
upset.
We try to apprehend her.
Her doctor's talking to her, and he's upset. He says, you don't need these. It should be dealing with your PSTD, Amy, and this is the wrong way to deal with you. And he apologized for what happened in Brockville. He didn't know what happened in Brockville. He had to dig the records out. And then he called me and he apologized for it. And
the issue that we have is when we get called to a mental health call, and we believe that the person we're dealing with is suicidal, we need to apprehend them.
Well, she told me...
We need to use whatever force is required to do so. And in Amy's case specifically, because of her history, I understand the trauma involved in that. We don't have a choice.
And she's reached out...
We are not the best instrument for dealing with this.
Yeah, and she sees, she's reached out to the physiotherapist, supposedly, or the therapist on the internet, and he's the one that told her if she kills herself, then the police will listen. So that's why she's screaming now, I've got to kill myself for you to listen. You aren't pressing charges. And since then, we have not only documentation that it's not your mom that abducted you, it was the police. She knows this now. And I've always told her it was never her mom's fault. She was mentally ill. It was the police who enabled her. And the court clinic assessment 7 years later clearly stated, when the doctor asked her, don't you think that was kind of harsh, biting him through the arm till he bled? And she said, no, the police didn't charge me. And she was schizophrenic. So for those 7 years, all those beatings that Amy's trying to tell you about, why she was under a non-harassment order, was in your jurisdiction. It wasn't in Ottawa's. It was still in OPP. And she hasn't been heard. And you're refusing to hear her. All you want to do is, like she says, all you want to do, Dad, is send me to doctors. Send me to doctors. Nobody will take care of the problem, which is them.
Well,
covering
in
up
all
themselves.
honesty, Steve, that's the issue right now. What
Yeah.
Amy needs is to go to a doctor and get whatever she's got going on right now looked after.
Well, as soon as they come after the people who did this to her, she'll feel better.
It's not going to make a difference. It
Yes, it will.
doesn't change anything.
The court,
It all happened.
the psychiatrist told me she'll get healing when this gets closure because she has the evidence and she knows what's happened. It's you guys that won't look at the evidence because you are implicated in it.
All right, so what I'm going to do tonight
Is cover up her child
as I
abuse?
said, I'm going to try to make arrangements that we can
Again, we're ignoring the
get
child
things
abuse.
linked up so she has some follow-on services here.
So, and as
I
far
would
as
ask.
as far as her child abuse
Okay,
charges,
and I would ask that you support us in that, and
Oh, I'll
if she has
support
appointments and
all
people are
of
coming
them.
to see her,
Yeah.
please do your best to make sure that she sees those people, that she keeps those appointments. I know that can be a bit of a challenge. When she's having a bad day, she's having a bad day.
well, if she doesn't change her demeanor, she won't listen to any of the doctors, and that's what my doctor says too. The added trauma, that's why she's getting resilient against the doctors and the hospitals now, because they're all playing. She thinks you're all playing around with the cops. All you care about is give me a doctor and not worrying about these charges of assault. How long does this have to
So
go on?
just so we're all on the same page, when we get called, because Amy's making suicidal comments, if we believe that she's suicidal, we are going to be apprehending her.
I know. That's what I told
And
her.
in doing so, if she resists, we are going to have to use whatever force is required to do so. And I don't want to do it. None of the guys want any part of this.
Well, she's trying to
But
get
the fact
arrested.
is, it is our responsibility.
She thinks it's the only way to get a judge, and I told her I can get the judge, Amy. She says, no, I got to get arrested. So I'm sure all that was on her mind. She was even telling her officers to shoot her, but they didn't, of course. And
I heard that, yeah.
So, she doesn't want to live. And right now, the torture I see her going through between her childhood and what you're doing to her now, I think she should.
Okay, well, we're not doing anything to her now.
Oh, you're torturing the hell out of her by not.
She calls us.
You're ignoring her assaults. You haven't addressed it once.
Okay, so on that front,
yes,
I now have heard from everybody.
Thank you. What's your
from the
position?
Ottawa Police side, Ottawa Police has finished their review. They have reviewed all the contact they've had with your family.
Yes.
And have found that those investigations are complete and resolved, and they will not reopen them.
Oh, so
you have filed a complaint with the OIPRD.
Yeah.
The OIPRD has looked at it, and they've said the Ottawa Police is right in their conclusion.
They're right in their conclusion about they don't have jurisdiction. As far as jurisdiction, they opened a second case because it said this is obviously an OPP.
So then, as far as the OPP goes,
you're going to obstruct justice on her assaults.
So as far as the OPP goes, we no longer have jurisdiction over the city of Ottawa for what occurred at any time, whether we were the police force of jurisdiction at that time or not.
So you're telling me
you got a
has
reply
no
back
recourse
from the OIPRD indicating that they could not look at anything prior to 2009, which is when they were formed.
So her assault has
no findings of any issues since 2009. You got a letter from a superintendent in professional standards with the OPP that looked at that period between 1995 and 2009.
Yeah.
That there was an issue of misconduct in which you filed a complaint.
Domestic violence.
Misconduct was founded. And it was dealt with at the time. I don't know what was done, and it doesn't sound like they've ever told you what was done. But according to PSB, they dealt with the issue at the time, and it is resolved, and they're not reopening that issue.
No.
Notwithstanding the fact that that particular member is no longer with the OPP.
No, that's not a problem, though. That what I'm saying is they looked into my assault. They didn't do nothing about Amy's. So are they not going to allow her to open an issue?
That is with Ottawa Police, and the OIPRD has found that they were not wrong in telling you not to call anymore.
But it was your
So the unfortunate position I'm in now, Steve, is I cannot help you with anything involving
Amy's child abuse.
Happened over the years.
So Amy's child abuse, there's no police officer in Ontario that can help her?
That's what I'm telling you.
Okay, well, that's what I needed documented because I got to go to the judge because that court order I told him you were covering up that assault, and you're still doing it. And but I had two judges that said she's assaulted, and a court clinic assessment that clearly says assault. When a person is holding a child and they're being attacked and assaulted by being bitten, punched, and kicked, that is aggravated assault to a child. And you and your police officers.
You've gone through this. You have filed
why don't you know this?
They've been investigated. I don't know why they didn't work out the way you wanted them to. I have no access to any of those.
It's not the way I wanted. It's the way the law of the land. It's the way of the law of the land. But the fact is, they were investigated. They were deemed unfounded. In one case, it appears there was some level of misconduct that was dealt with, but I have no idea how it was dealt with. Apparently, the outcome did not involve reversing the actions that were taken by the officer, correct? Yeah.
So whatever was done did not involve reversing any of the actions that were taken. I understand you don't agree with any of these decisions.
No, what they said was the officer was wrong because he did not consult with the Crown for the assaults, and the Crown wasn't consulted. They still haven't been consulted for Amy's assault that night. And I'm telling you, she needs the Crown involved. And the judge said in 2014 that the Crown was supposed to be protecting her about this assault, and my three kids signed them off on the civil suit in order to get them on their side so they'd have a lawyer, and the Crown is still not either being consulted or they're refusing. You aren't protecting the children. You aren't protecting the child. And I need you to bring in the law, as it's written, to protect her from this childhood assault that's been proven in the court of law.
On those reports you got back from the OIPRD,
yes, sir.
There's an explanation of a further process you can follow through Superior Court, I believe it was. I don't have the documents in front of me.
That open court order I gave you is divisional court, and it is divisional court. I understand that.
Okay.
And
that court order you gave me is a custody order.
It will be a judicial review.
It no longer applies because Amy is an adult.
Yes, but I have fair warning to tell you I will be suggesting to the judge that you are still obstructing justice, and that's why this is still going on. It was your jurisdiction, and you're telling me there's no police that has jurisdiction over her assault that night. So we've got that document.
I'm telling you that jurisdiction lies with the Ottawa Police. They've already investigated it. They have found nothing that they can lay charges on. The OIPRD, they have reviewed their own actions. The OIPRD has reviewed their actions, and all of it is ruled as no issues.
Okay,
that it's been done properly. So I realize you don't agree with it.
Well, I have more additional evidence.
The problem I have now, Steve, is I cannot help you with any of this stuff that's happened in the past.
Okay.
I am more than willing to continue to work with you and Amy to try to get her any kind of supports that she might need. I realize this is not the answer you wanted to hear.
No, she needs closure.
I can't offer you any more assistance on that other stuff. I have nowhere else to go.
Okay. Now, one of your emergency people told me she should be seeing Vickers. It's something that I'm not aware of the word, but because of her trauma, she shouldn't be.
Yes.
It shouldn't be a psychiatrist. She needs Vickers. Right now she's traumatized. She's acting out. And
Vickers is the it's a victim support program that we have.
Exactly. She's a victim of all these abuses that she's not.
And we've done that once before. We've linked her up once before, but that effort was way back when I was trying to find you someone that could assist you in working through the civil court process.
Okay.
And I did speak to them on that, and they have been unable to find anybody or any service that does that.
Okay. Well, right now it's the criminal aspect that's overtaken her mind right now. She's trying to get.
And I understand that, but I am not, and the police are not the people. And I realize this is going to sound backwards to you because you're looking to us to lay charges. But what I'm trying to explain to you is we have conducted those investigations, and when I say we, I mean the OPP or the Ottawa Police. Results have come from those investigations. Those investigations have been reviewed by the OIPRD, which is the oversight body for policing.
Okay.
And no misconduct was found, no errors were found.
Okay, so
I cannot do anything further for you on that matter.
You see where this has left Amy in the civil case? The Children's Aid are saying to the judge there was no assault that night. Because of the police actions, that's why they refused to follow through with their...
And the police are saying there was no assault that night. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there.
They are saying that? Like I was holding the child?
No charge was laid, correct? No charge has ever been laid.
That's where the law was broken. The officer had to lay charges regardless of what I say or my mother or her mother said.
Okay.
The charges were to be laid.
Well, the
and
officer
Amy knows
deemed
that.
otherwise, and
And he was wrong. He was found in wrongdoing for not consulting the Crown. And the Crown needs to be consulted.
I don't know whether
This
or not that
involves a
happened
child.
25 years ago.
I got all the documentation, including the court clinic
Okay.
assessment that proved it. But you won't look at the evidence. And Amy says they're
So-
doing it. She knows you're blocking it. You're obstructing
In
justice.
an effort not to go round and round in circles anymore.
You're not going to look at the evidence that we've got.
I can't do anything with it. I'm telling you, I can no longer help you with any of that. You have exhausted your options as far as the police go.
So
If you want to file a civil suit, you can go ahead and do that. That may be the only course of action you have left.
so it's just up
But
to
the
the
complaint
judge.
bodies have looked at it. Our own internal, I've consulted professional standards.
Okay.
They're on the same page that I am. That
Yeah.
any issues that occurred in the city of Ottawa, regardless of whose jurisdiction it was
Okay.
at the time, now must be investigated by the Ottawa Police.
Okay.
The Ottawa Police are maintaining they've already done so, and they will not open any new files on those same cases. OIPRD has looked at it and said the Ottawa Police are right to do so.
Now, you told her yourself that you were concerned because none of her other assaults were been addressed. Why are you not concerned about her
No,
other
I
assaults?
told her I didn't know because I have no access to those records, and I wanted to know whether or not they had been.
But you
As
do,
a
you do
result
have
of Ottawa
access.
Police's review, they are claiming that all of this stuff has been addressed.
But I have told you I have disclosure from the Children's Aid. I have all this evidence, and you won't look at it.
But
You're
there's
refusing.
nothing I can do to help you with that.
So
That's what I'm telling you. If you want...
do you not have the court order that says the non-harassment order against my child when she was assaulted all that time? You mean she has no recourse?
I have a custody order from you that discusses how you and your ex are going to exchange custody of Amy.
Does it not say a non-harassment order on there and police to pay costs?
There's something in there as well about that.
That's right, and that non-harassment order carried over all three orders. And that non-harassment, she was allowed to be choked
But
by her mother.
other than the
We've got to
ties with
expose
your
what
ex-wife.
these police are doing. You're responsible for Amy's mental illness. You're responsible for putting her into this episodes these last 9 months. She wasn't this bad until she got involved
That
with
may
you.
be, Steve, but I can't help you
The
with that.
psychologist said that she's
I'm not telling you
competent.
you shouldn't feel the way you feel.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you that Amy shouldn't have the
No,
issues
she's
that she
being
has.
tortured. She's being
I'm not
tortured.
even telling you that all of the things that have happened,
Yes, sir.
that you're telling me have happened, have not happened.
And you
What
won't
I'm
look at
telling
the
you
evidence.
is the process has run its course.
So
the
that-
investigations have been done, and they have been closed.
So-
and I cannot help you any further on
Okay.
any of that
So
stuff.
you realize I
the
have to-
police cannot help you any further on this.
So that's what I'll tell Amy. I have to tell her
if you
this.
are to get
What am I
if you
supposed to
are
tell
to get
Amy?
further help, it's going to have to be in a civil court that finds the CAS or the police department or the Crown Attorney's office or whoever it is,
The civil says they don't handle
negligent.
criminal.
and they then can come up with whatever solution they deem fit. But on the police side of things, not I and not anybody else in this department can assist you with that stuff anymore.
Okay.
Where we can help you
Okay, so
is in the current situation with Amy. We are not a great instrument for dealing with Amy. I get that.
okay.
She doesn't trust us. She doesn't like us.
Well, she wants you
And
to
when
press
we go
charges.
and she resists and we have to apprehend her because she's suicidal, it sets us back that much further. I understand all of that.
You know what I have to explain to her now? She has no right to charge anybody for all of the abuse. How am I explaining this to her? What do you advise me to tell her? I got to get her off this. I got to get her off the idea that she thinks she has rights.
That you tell her they've been looked at, and for whatever reason, and I don't know, Steve, I wasn't there. I wasn't part of these investigations. But for whatever reason, the officers that conducted those investigations could not develop reasonable grounds. It doesn't necessarily mean that stuff didn't happen.
No, it happened, and that's why.
It just means that we could not establish reasonable grounds to believe that it did.
But that's why I have the court clinic assessment. I told the judges we're covering up her assault. The court clinic assessment determined it was covered up because of your wrongdoing.
Well, let's follow up with that. Then follow up with that. Take that to court.
Well, I wanted to give the
and see
police
what a judge might order. Maybe
I wanted to give
maybe you'll get some satisfaction there. I don't know.
So I wanted to give the police the opportunity to step in and do the right thing, but obviously, your doors are closed here. It's clear.
Unfortunately, Steve, that's true.
Okay.
This is not the news I wanted to give you. I wanted to be able to tell you that we were going to be able to resolve this in some manner for you and Amy.
I'm trying to heal Amy, and this news isn't going to heal her. What would have healed her is she knew that someone was starting to hear and give her the rights that she should have had as a child. And that for some reason now, as I got you saying, no police officer in Ontario will assist her. It's only the courts. And it was the court that needed the court clinic assessment. to prove what happened, and it proved it. So,
Okay, that's where you're going to have to turn. There is that notation in the OIPRD reports.
okay,
That
and
there is that next level for you, and I'm suggesting that if you really feel strongly about this, and clearly you do,
well, I do.
that is the way you need to go. I can't help you anymore at this level.
Okay, because well, that's the judge did order you on that court order, the OPP and the Ottawa Police to assist forthwith, and that harassment. That's part one of the terms of that order, that she's not to be harassed or annoyed, and you're refusing to deal with it. So you are obstructing justice. You're defying the court order.
I'm not, Steve. I'm not going to argue with you.
No, you aren't going to argue with me, because we're not going to argue. That's for a judge to decide.
We have
That's
issues
where the
to deal
arguments
with
will be heard.
Amy.
So I imagine you'll be called into court for this as well, but I am going to seek the lawyer tomorrow. I wanted to work with you. Obviously, there's no more working on the criminal side. You made that clear. That has nothing to do with any Ontario police office. So,
Correct.
Thank you. I just needed your spot on this, because I had to give the police station every opportunity before we can go ahead with the criminal charges against any officers that may have committed a crime. And you have well established that for me tonight. Thank you for your help, sir. Thank you for being concerned about her medical. I wish we could have done something about the criminal things that happened to her as a child, but thank you as a police officer be concerned about her medical need, because we do have to be concerned. And if you guys get more training, which you do take a lot, try to get them to get you on training courses about how to treat people with severe disabilities, because you'll understand what further trauma does to a person and how it angers them so much. Because this is what I've been working with, and I spent a lot of time with Amy saying, look, there is justice, Amy, you are going to get it. Now I got to steer the car the other way, because if I take your advice, I have to tell her there is no police agency that will help you for any of these abuses you took as a child, even though the court has proved that these abuses did occur. And I think that's a violation of her rights, but you and I disagree, and we'll leave it at that. But thanks, David, for attempting to try to help.
I do wish you luck, Steve. I know you've got your hands full. I know this is really tough.
Hey, man, I love kids, and when I start seeing this kind of thing happening in the system where we're hurting our kids by covering stuff up like this, and it's at a level where yous are, that's why it took me 7 years to open it up, because a judge probably thought I was crazy that yous are covering up my little girl's assault, my little 2.5-year-old child's assault. It left her disabled so badly. She was severely disabled. She couldn't talk when I got her back for the first visit. She started grunting. And then 2 years later, severely learning disabled with severe language impairments from witnessing violence in the home is what I've got here as a psychologist's papers, if you ever wanted to look at them. And that was at the age of 5. So what you're doing to her now, she's never been treated for any of this trauma. You're out into it. And that's why I say, you officers, I'm glad to see you have nurses on board, but unfortunately, I think he was working on your side better than Amy's, because he gave us the opposite advice what the psychiatrist said, that closure would give her healing. And he said, just move on with your life and let this go by, what happened to you. And that's not the right thing to do. She remembers her abuses, and so do my other 2 kids.
I'm not smart enough to tell you what the right thing to do. I understand that Amy's got a long road ahead.
That's also my other 2 children.
I do hope for both of you that things will get better.
My other 2 children also have witnessed violence.
I can't do anything for you. I can't do what you want me to do for you.
No, you can't protect children, and this is what bothers me. But the judge will, and we'll see him, and we'll hopefully, my faith in Canada will be restored. But thanks anyways, David. I don't want to be mean, but I'm just trying to be straightforward, because I had to get to the truth of where
and I
you lied.
appreciate that. You always have been.
As I've led Amy on too long, and she's starting to think I'm part of the liar. And I'm not. I'm trying to get her justice for what's happened.
No, you're very clearly on her side. There's no question about that.
Thank you. I don't mean any harm to your officers. I just wish they would learn to more compassion. And, Amy was no threat. They had 3 officers that took her down so bad and slamming her body slam into that garbage pile, all that sharp sheet metal. I'm in the sheet metal business, and we were just cleaning that up. But the remnants were down there. There was a couple large pipes which didn't go through her, thank goodness. I haven't seen her front or body, but I'm sure I'll probably see more bruises on her. But, it just hurts her more. It just makes her think the police aren't helping me, Dad, and she's right now. And I've got to tell her that this is not the option to go with the police, and we'll do it the proper way through the court system. But thank you very much.
I wish you luck, Steve.
Thanks for attempting. Thanks.
Okay. Take
Bye
care.
now.
Bye-bye.
cops are here. Amy's called them for her childhood abuse, and they're not going to deal with it. Doing in my house. They're not supposed to be in my house. Oh, let's find out what's going on. They're in the woods looking for her. The police cars. It's okay, Roxy. What's the matter, girl?
Hello.
What are you doing in my home?
Well, we're looking for Amy.
Amy isn't here. You know that. You shouldn't be in my home. This is my property. I
No,
asked
she
you to
called
leave.
911 from here.
Yeah, but she didn't call you to come. She called you about her child abuse.
Well, she called.
She's afraid of you. Do you not understand? You've hurt her how many times?
Why is she calling us then?
Because she knows that charges have to be laid, and I told her to leave it alone. They're obstructing justice. We've got the proof for the judge.
Okay,
Yous
well,
aren't going to make it better.
We have to make sure she's okay. So
Yeah.
Do you know where she is?
I don't know where she is exactly. All I know is she's afraid of you and she's hiding for her life.
Okay.
Yous are a danger.
So you understand, when 911 called my house,
I told her that. She says, Dad, it's a crime in progress. I says, forget it, Amy.
but
They're the
that's why
ones.
the reason we're in your house is because of 911 being called. If no one answers and we believe she's in here because she's called from a landline, it gives us the legal ability to come into your residence.
And she's also said she's going to barricade herself, so
Yeah, she said she was going to lock her doors up from you, and
she didn't.
I told her, well, you know what happened last time? They break the door down, they dragged you in, they cut you up, they bruise you, just like your mom did when you were a child. That's the only abuse she's ever taken. Yous guys and her mom. So yous are here to hurt her. Yous are here to hurt her.
Why would we be here to hurt her?
The same time you said yous were here to help her last time, and you hurt her.
Well, we only come when we're called.
Are you going to help her?
If she wants help.
You talked
Okay.
to Buzzer. Remember
Yeah.
Sergeant Budzinski?
Yeah,
So
he
this
gave.
has gone up to a sergeant. It's not going to come back down to me.
Sergeant Badinsky gave me a recording, which I've got. I just
Yeah.
called. My lawyer's going to take it to the judge,
Yeah.
where yous have declined to take care of her childhood assaults, which the
Okay.
judge has proven has
Okay.
happened, and yous also were implicated in her abduction that night, 6 hours after her assault.
Okay.
So yous guys are
And this
implicated
was
on
in
all
the
this.
90s or early 2000s?
It doesn't matter. It's child abuse. That's what the judge said. She's in a civil court, and he said
So
the
there's
same
two
thing.
things. There's that, the whole thing that's going on.
I told her you're
which
part of the
you're
crime,
gonna
and you
deal
ain't going to
with.
help her. No,
Then
yous were
there's the
supposed to.
911 calling, and there's
But you
the
didn't.
whatever else is going on. So that's what we're here for, to make sure she's
Okay. You'll
The rest
take
of
it
it will
away.
be dealt with legal and court and all the rest of it.
Yeah, well, that's not the way it's supposed to. When I called 911, I witnessed her assault from her mother. You should have dealt with it then.
That's not up to me to make that decision now. You know that, right?
It's
we've
not.
We've talked about this last time.
So any childhood crimes, she doesn't come to police about. She's
Well,
not to.
Yeah, but it's
So
been
you sent her-
investigated. It's been investigated, and a decision was made. However, right or wrong, you've gone to a sergeant who's gone to whatever else.
And we went to the
DA.
court, and the court says it was assault and it was abduction.
Okay.
So there's two crimes.
Yeah.
I said there's another one. The police are obstructing justice. They've known about this, and they're
Did you
still
write
doing nothing.
information? Because you can do that as well.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And the Crown came in and covered it up. So they came in and told the judge, Your Honor, no. And he told me that was the lawyer for the Queen Right of Ontario, or the Crown. And then he said that this is a civil matter. Take it there. Everything's going to be fine. And I told him, this is a crime. She knows it. Now that she's going through all the paperwork and the police paperwork and the children's aid files that she's had released through the Child Family Service Review Board, she knows that you've committed this crime. So it's her mother was mentally ill. You enabled her,
and allowed her. It took me 7 years to prove that assault and get her.
Again,
I
we're
wasn't
here
even
for.
on the job at that time.
It doesn't matter.
We're
It's
here
just
for
a
the
crime.
911 call. I understand everything else going
She only
on.
called you to report a
I just want
crime.
to make sure she's okay.
That's
Yeah.
fine, but if she's gonna report it, she needs to make herself available to us to make sure that she's okay.
Well,
If she's on the phone.
You won't do anything for her, so
telling
that's why
us
she had to
that
run.
She's barricading herself. and
Yeah,
everything, so-
she's got to run from you because you aren't helping her with her crime.
Well,
I told her, you don't call the police. She keeps telling everybody. Everyone's telling her they're not your friends. The lawyer we got, Mr. Gray, he says, I was a cop in London. He says, I thought my cops were corrupt. He says, cops here are worse than the London cops. So we realize we're dealing with dangerous people here when you're standing before me because of the bad or the name you wear and your police officers, the OIPRD, and the Ontario Professional Standards Bureau, even though they said it was assault, they've also told your sergeant, no Ontario police are going to help Amy with any of her childhood crimes. That's the exact quote.
give us a
You
call.
didn't do your job. You still aren't. I'll try to find her.
Thank you.
I'm sure she's fine. I just trying to.
There's some cracking going on in my head.
Well, I think that's where she went. You know, she's just afraid she's going to get hurt again. I said, Amy, they're not going to listen to you.
I've been here 3 times and I've never touched her once. I've always had conversation with her.
No, it's a couple of the other young fellows that one day they tackled her. It was awful what I was witnessing. I couldn't do nothing. Like you see your daughter being hurt, and you just have to sit there and watch it. But I realized where it's coming from.
That day? Was she trying to
She was drunk.
self-inflict? Oh, okay.
And even now, she doesn't want to live. She doesn't want to live because she's third-class citizen. These cops, police. She grew up thinking police are good. I raised her that way. I raised her on my own. I raised my 3 children since they were 5, 4, and she was 10. But she knew what happened because it took her 7 years to get out. And she knew Mom was beating her. And she had a. Right now, she has a court order, non-harassment against her mother. So she has other assaults. She's trying to give them to you, and you won't follow the order.
It's really hard to even
No.
talk to someone if she's gonna call us and run. Them too,
Well,
right?
I've been trying to bring the court orders. I was trying to get you to listen to the judge's instructions. The last court order I had is the chief of police, who holds all the legal records of the police, must release everything on the file of this child from the beginning to date. And that court order is still outstanding. So your report here will all go in there. Your names will, and you'll also know that she called about her child abuse again today, and you're going to go away and do nothing.
How am I supposed to do anything if she's not gonna come to us?
I'm here to represent her. She is severely disabled, and she's been classified by the courts, and her 2 siblings
If she's
is
gonna call 911
incapacitated.
herself,
You don't realize how bad my 3 children are. They're a bit devastated from their mother's assaults. And you should have stopped it. You could have stopped it if you just did your job back then. And she knows
I'm
it.
here not to manhandle her or do whatever happened last
Well, I'm glad you're here.
I just want to talk to her and make sure she's okay. Because if she wants to kill herself, that's a whole different other issue.
Yeah, when she's drinking, she gets angry. Like,
She's
right?
drinking today, like I don't know.
Like she said, I'm taking off in the woods, and then all of a sudden she started screaming really loud. And I thought, Amy, what are you doing? They'll find you.
Yeah.
And she said, I'm going to go deeper and deeper in the woods and drag them out. Like she just wants to
But this
get
is-
away from you, and
this is the
she knows you're
problem,
coming
right?
after.
If she's out
I don't
there
get
and she
it.
wants to kill herself, I'm
No,
not
she
gonna
doesn't
go
want
out
to kill
there.
herself.
I'm going to send my canine dog to go find her.
Yeah,
'cause
I know.
That's what we do, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So that's why if she's around, just tell her to come say hello. That way we can.
Well, when she calls, she seems to settle down when she was talking, like a 911, because she realized I'm doing something. I'm empowering myself.
I know. Last
Every
time I
time
was
she's
here,
got a
yeah,
voice,
just
she
talk
thinks
to her.
she's feeling good
When
about
I start
herself.
talking to her, she calms right down every single
Yeah,
time.
she does, because she just wants someone to listen, and she wants to have a voice. But
So do you think you could try to go find her? So
Yeah, I will.
We just want to chat.
I'll phone her, or I'll keep phoning her until she turns her phone back on, because she shut it off so you just wouldn't track her.
Yeah.
And I told her, well, Amy, stop calling them. That's why I kept telling your officer on the line, don't send them.
I'm not here to argue about
Yeah.
the past. I realize we wear the same.
I know, and
as
she is.
Those officers did 20 years ago, or whatever it was, and
And
whatever happens in court's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
Like if a judge signs off and everything, then absolutely, like we do what we have to do. I don't know why a supervisor would make that decision with you. That's not my role to play here.
Mhm.
I'm just here for the 911 call. You understand that?
Yeah, I understand that. You
But
have to
I understand
respond.
why she's running away because
I told her that you guys are being told by your bosses not to do anything about her assault. So it's not even, it's just you guys have to obey orders. Like, there's a moral ethic. I'd quit my job. I wouldn't sit here and be part of the cover-up of this child's assault. But every officer's different. I understand you got families to feed. So your bosses tell you something, that's the way the anarchy works in your system. And we've got to get this uncovered. Like,
And you guys understand the two different stories here. You have everything that's happened historically, and then the 911 call today.
yeah, and it's
So
about the same.
That's why we're here. We want to make sure she's okay.
Yeah.
I understand she's upset with the past.
Yeah, I
feel
know.
like it's dealt with soon.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure she's not going to go out there and do some harm, right? 'Cause
No.
If that's the case, then we're all basically up shit's creek.
No, you know, if she had someone to talk to a little more, she would be okay. She's trying not to call crisis centers because they call you.
What about our nurse? I've mentioned this before. Did they follow up with you? Or did she
Yeah,
go on?
he was telling her just live with what happened in the past and try to go on with your life.
We have
And
different nurses now. Maybe someone.
yeah,
else
because
can
her
try to figure it out.
psychologist that I've dealt with, and the other child said the same thing. They both need closure on this. They know what's happened.
Yeah.
And they need closure. You know, you guys aren't meant to be what happened, and for some reason, your people are trying to not get themselves in trouble because the court records and the children's aid also back it up that when they were going to protect that child, you decided to take her to the woman's shelter anyway, even though they ordered you not to. 6 hours later, then your officer, I've got the notes. He says I advised Mr. Cox to go to the judge and tell him about the assault as well as any other assaults to the child he wants to talk about. It took me 7 years to get that court clinic assessment, and then it proved all of these assaults, the police wrongdoing, the children's aid cover-up,
That's why. There's a process.
and
for
she
this.
knows, and now she's been waiting 12 years to get this to court, and so it's driving her crazy.
Okay.
And it's costing me a
Can
fortune,
you
but
try
that's
calling her
beyond
out
it.
Just so I can say hello and I can leave. You seem like you don't want to, but
Well, it's just I don't want to. She trusts me, and that's the only trust she's got right now. So, but I would like to take
Are
her.
you satisfied she's okay?
I'm satisfied she's safe,
Are you going to see her?
especially
whenever
now
you leave?
because she was really angered up, and then she called you. I kept saying, "Don't call 911, don't call 9." And then she did, and once she got you on the phone and she ran, she called me. She says, "I'm running away, Dad," and she was all calmed down.
Okay. So how about we leave? You make sure she's okay.
Yeah.
And
If she's not, I call you. I know the laws.
if she's not, you call us. But I would actually like a call, just so you can tell me when you're away from here, so you don't break her trust. Just tell me she's fine.
Yeah,
And
if
then
you had a
I can-
return phone number, I wouldn't mind
Yeah,
taking
I'll
it,
give you one.
and a name, and I'll let Amy know how reasonable you seem to have been.
Yeah.
And maybe she'll feel better calling you instead of 911 next time if she feels she needs to talk to a police officer. And then you can just reassure her that,
It
look,
depends on
we've
what
done
the
what we could.
situation is, right?
Yeah, she's not going to give
can't-
up on this child abuse because that's what
I can't,
disabled her.
I'm
And
not going to
she's
do what Sergeant Budzinski did. Like, that's his role. I can't
No.
sit there and explain things to her over
no.
and over.
Even the lawyer said what
This is,
Bedinsky did was criminal. He
I'll
has
give
no right
you,
to tell
I'll
a
give you a
child
number
that.
just for today, but after, like this is not my personal phone.
Yeah.
This stays in the car, gets turned off at nighttime, okay?
Okay, I understand.
So you can give me a call back. Do you have something to write this down on?
Sure.
I just want to make sure she's fine today. 613.
613. And your
First name is Brad.
Brad. Okay.
So yeah, just give me a call. Make sure you tell me she's good, and then
Yep.
I can.
If she doesn't believe me, I'll say call Brad and he'll explain to you what the officer said. Like I said, I've got the recording. She's heard it.
Yeah.
And she knows that there's no Ontario police force that'll help her with any of it.
Clear, like I can't be answering calls about
No, I know.
else all the time.
Well, you know,
I'm just trying to make this work right now.
it's a crime in progress, and she thinks she has a right to call police. And I says, not if they're ordered not to help you in this crime. And the OAPRD actually stated 3 months ago, this is still a crime in progress on their paperwork. I can show it to you.
Okay.
And, you know, that's even backed her up more that this is a crime. Of course it is, Amy. Crime against children. And this caused you severe bodily harm. You and your two siblings are all classified as incapacitated by the court. They're all on ODSP. They're all afraid to go outside because they know what's kind of... When someone gets a narrative, you don't have a choice. The right truth isn't coming out.
You're there trying to
Show
deal
them
with everything, right?
Yeah,
I
and
get that. It's frustrating.
And I told them the courts are the last chance. You know, if we go to the court and the judge, like they've already ruled you've been assaulted. They already told the Crown right to their face, you're supposed to be representing her. And they'll go by the best interest of the child. And that's what they should have done. And that night they should have did that when she was 2.5.
Is there a number I could reach you at in
Sure.
case I can't get a hold of you?
No, I'll absolutely give you my phone number. And you may have been calling there, but I've had my phone off.
We tried. I just want to make sure we have the right one.
That's me.
This is you here?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay.
I haven't been able to work for about 9 months, really, because, again, she's just so damaged. I have to monitor her all the time. So I'm retired. I'm trying to retire. I'm 62, but this bankrupted me because 7 years of not working and trying to protect her and watching her mother keep beating her, and I kept reporting those, and nothing was done until the court clinic found this. And
So we're
that
gonna
was
go-
Children's Aid's fault more than yours
We're going to
because
take off here. I want her to come out
Yeah, me
And
too.
I just want you to understand why we were in your house. You understand that?
Well,
A 911 call from a resident.
you were
phone,
searching for her. I
searching
understand.
for her. There's case law beyond case law that we're allowed to do so, just to make sure no one is.
A little scary for me. I thought maybe you were in the woods looking for her. I thought they won't go in my home, but
I just don't want you to leave and be
Yeah.
like, why the fuck were the police in my house? I just want you to understand why we were in there.
yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Anything else doesn't matter.
Well, you caused me no harm for being in the house. The dogs didn't get hurt, and they didn't hurt you, so I'm glad.
Yeah, they're fine.
Roxy's a good dog. She's trained her well, but her breeding is a Rottweiler, and her father was a wolf and a German Shepherd mix. So she has the capability of being
Is she
really.
old, or?
She's pretty old, yeah.
It looks like her eyes are
Yeah,
starting to get
getting
some,
up there. Amy will miss her. That was sort of her dog all these years that helped her stay contained. But I really feel bad for her. You know, she's 28, never had a boyfriend. I can't get her to go to the house. The only time I can get her is to go shopping with me or something. And then she gets online talking to these people, and she starts telling them what the police have done to her and all her childhood assaults.
and then
they start mocking her. And then they say, you got to kill yourself if you want the police to do anything.
Yeah.
So she's severely disabled, and they're toying with her like that. And she's trying to get used to do something about that. And I said, they're not going to, Amy. They're out of it's not even in this country. And the web, they can taunt you to kill yourself. If maybe in Canada, if there was a Canadian doing it to you, we could do something because of the law that they got down. But you got to get offline, and she can't. She seems to be, that's my only friend. So she gets on there and tries to talk on those streams. And
just let her know it's better just to stay in her house and talk to us through a window or a door than to run away. Because technically, like, I should be calling a canine unit out here to find her.
Mhm.
But we're going to do some trust exercises here and just make sure she comes out, make sure she's good, give me a call.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen, then we're going to have to come back and go down a different path just to ensure she is safe.
yeah,
Okay?
yeah, she is safe that way.
I've seen people run out there with ropes. I've seen people run out there with knives. Or she goes out there and gets lost. You know what I mean? Just worst case scenario. So give me a call. I'll be waiting for it.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
that's the best thing, because I don't, you know, with her, she grew up with her mother, and her mother, whenever she got pissed off, attacks.
Yeah.
And that was her schizophrenia. So Amy was patterned to that. So if you was come after her, being hurt so much, I'd be
Well, I
afraid
don't
she'd
wanna do
pick
that
up.
either, but
She'd pick
I
up
need
a
to make
stick
sure
or
she's
something,
safe.
and then it would escalate, because you guys protect yourself more than she's allowed to protect herself, and you will kill her. So I've told her that. She understands. She sees people being killed by police all the time, and mentally ill, and
So
she
let's
is
do it
mentally
this way.
ill.
You bring her out. I'll leave. You give me a call. Give me the thumbs up.
I'll try to find her. She'll probably find her within an hour or two.
Yeah. When I got here, I heard something back behind me here. So
She knows those police cars are here from far away, wherever she's looking, I'm thinking. So she'll
it doesn't
keep,
take much to disappear.
yeah, and she'll just take a peek and then go back deep again. You know, she's smart. So,
Okay, cool.
but I understand you're trying to. Thank you very much. I'll let her know that you were concerned. I'm glad you didn't push it any further than that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, this is my home. I told them not to send the cops here because you have been hurting her every time you come.
Okay, can you stay in the vehicle?
Yeah, sure.
Can you please, can we stay in
I'm
chat
here
with
to
the window
protect
down?
Yeah, no,
I would really appreciate that.
Well,
Can you do that, Stephen?
I've been always harmless. I'm just going to put my mask
sit, I
on.
okay, that's fine.
And then I'm just going to, sitting in the car is sort of stupid.
No, I want you to sit in the car.
I know that you're here to really get her down. They told her to call 911. I said, Amy, don't answer the door.
It's an emergency situation, so...
Of course, she's drunk.
Can you please sit in the car?
Her doctor and I and her lawyer's been retained yesterday because you guys are covering up all her childhood abuses, and she's suffering from childhood PSTD. So when she drinks, she calls
just
you.
have a seat and then we'll talk, okay?
Okay, well, maybe we're going to help her with her crimes today.
Well, we're going to help her as best we can today. Can you get in the vehicle and just put down the
I
window
do.
so we can
Yeah,
talk?
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay, you're detaining me as far as I'm concerned. This is my home.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
You might
and
not
I'm
be able
going
to
in
get
my
through to
house.
her because she's still
Only
on.
I can get through to her. You are her enemy. She's afraid of you. I've told you that
called
before.
us.
No, she called a crisis line and they called 911. I told her not to call you because you know what happens here. She says, I know the laws. She says, the police are breaking. I says, we're going to the judge. Your lawyer's been retained. They're only going to come here and hurt you. They're not going to. I've got a recording of Mr. Bedinsky who said, excuse me, I'm just having a panic attack because of these people. You frighten me. You hurt my child so much.
Am I doing anything to frighten you right now?
Yes.
I'm trying to keep you out of trouble right now.
You
okay?
aren't dealing with her childhood crimes. You're part of the cover-up. Your Professional Standards Bureau said there was assault. You guys didn't deal with it. She wants her mother charged.
Okay. Stephen, the reason you're staying in the car right now is because Amy has a pickaxe that she's ready to...
She told me she's going to defend her life with
Yes.
And if you let me in there, I'll get it down.
No.
I told her, you're going to fucking shoot her.
No, you're not going in that house.
You're going to hurt her again. I can calm her down. She's drunk. What are you doing trying to get in there to her? Do not go around her. She will defend herself with anything she can find. She told me that. You ain't going to let the police hurt me no more, Dad. They bruised me and chained me to a pen.
Yes,
And
I understand that.
you've abused her since she was a child. She wants to die because of yous. I am getting her therapy. Now get out of here, please. Please leave. I will calm the situation down. You're escalating it. You fucking put that down, sir. Sir, maybe. Put it down. Put it down, Amy. You fucking ass. This is all being recorded. I would have de-escalated it, and you chose not to. She's seen me here.
You're going to be arrested in a second.
Okay.
Get back in the car.
I'll get back in the car because you're ordering me.
Go back to the ambulance. Get back in the car and go back to the ambulance or you will be arrested, sir. Back to the ambulance.
Do you want me to start my vehicle?
And go back to the ambulance.
Okay.
Watch out, he's starting his vehicle, guys.
Watch, guys. He thinks I'm dangerous.
Back.
I'm backing up, guys, okay? I'm backing up. Please do not shoot me, too. These are so unreasonable, and this is part of the damage you're causing her. She is disabled since she was 5, okay? She's severely disabled. She doesn't understand what yous are doing. I want that officer's name. This is what they do to disabled people. She's drunk. I could have disarmed her. Fucking ambulance is back here. I should be calling my lawyer right now. They have removed me from getting a better picture than this. You and her mother both hurt her. That's the only people who have hurt her in her life. Thanks. Thanks again. You guys got to learn on how you handle things that makes it worse and worse because you don't handle it right the first time. She's asking for help for her child assaults. You help her with those assaults. Why are you refusing to help her? She's got PSTD from this. Call her doctor. Do you not understand? She will fight to the death. She wants the death by cop. The guy on the internet is telling her this is how she's got to go out for you to listen. You better leave my daughter alone. She's never hurt anyone. You let me to her so I can calm it down. Let me calm the situation down, please. Get away from her and I will go to her. Let me calm the situation, please. She's calling you for her childhood assaults and you're not listening. You're covering it up. You've been covering it up for 27 years. There's no time limit on child assault, people. You should know the law. You are supposed to uphold the law. What have you done to my child? How have you handled this disabled person? She is not able to deal with you. You're her crisis. What have you done to her? I want to know what you've done to her now. Where's Sergeant Badinsky? I'm right here now. Wait till the judge gets this. Wait till the judge gets this. I got an outstanding court order for you, and you still aren't fulfilling it. It's an open court. You're to assist her. You're not assisting her with these assaults. You're hurting her more. Stop. Stop it. Now let me in to help her out now. She said she wants you to kill her. Are you going to fulfill it? Are you fulfilling her wish? God help me, please. These people are evil. Please forgive them for what they do. They're friggin' nuts. I can't believe it. One woman. How many guns do you need out? This is really balanced. She's disabled and PSTD, and she's drunk. And you come in and take care of her because she's speaking out. You don't give her a voice, do you? You want to shoot her. Well, she wants to die by you guys. Let's see if you get sucked into that. Let's see what the judge says about this. You know she has a fear for you, as I told you clearly on the last 2 visits. She's defending her life. Are you going to kill her? Get away from her. My God, you guys are not listening. Oh boy, this is our police service. This is my police service protecting my child since she was 2.5. Still fucking up. What the hell's the matter with these people? He's not listening? He's going to hurt her more? Or are you going to let me defuse the situation? Are you going to let me defuse the situation? Call her doctor. He'll be on right now, and he'll tell you that she's suffering from PSTD from the police. Now stop. The OPP have covered up her assault since she was 2.5. It's been exposed by a judge. She said she's been assaulted. The Crown is supposed to deal with this, and he says, I can't because we got to protect ourselves, Your Honor. We can't also represent her. Now, you're out here doing this to her? The Crown will be... we'll see what happens. We're going beyond the Crown. You guys are covering this shit up. And look what you're doing to my child. Thanks a lot. You haven't learned nothing. You've learned nothing. I used to support the police. I don't support this. I never supported hurting children, especially disabled ones. What the hell's the matter with yous? Maybe you should come shoot me, because I keep telling you some common sense, trying to hope I can get through to your soul. Your job, your money. You worship your money and your job. I'm going to follow some kind of rules and put her in the rule system. Well, you don't know the story, and the judge does. And you're walking way beyond what you're supposed to be doing. Just look the other way. Don't listen to common sense. Get yourself in further shit. Every one of you officers, I've told you the story, and yous aren't helping me de-escalate this situation. I'm the only one that my daughter listens to. Yous are her enemy. You have hurt her, and she knows it. She knows the criminal code, and if you ask her, she'll tell you the numbers that you're violating. Right now, you're still obstructing justice, and now you're hurting her because she's trying to call for justice. And she's drunk, and she's mad at you for covering up all her assaults. Shame on you. You contempted a court order. OPP to assist. This is the assist, Your Honor. This is what they do with your court order, Your Honor, and they have it in their records. This is assistance. Now I'm the party they're supposed to assist. They are not assisting at all. They are hurting the situation, and they're continuing to damage Amy psychologically, and I don't know how physically. But the last time she was bruised and cut up from her tackling her down, because all she wanted to do is stay away from the police. I try to teach my children, you call for them for help. And she's so sick, she doesn't realize that they're going to do this to her. They're not going to help her. That's not, the police are supposed to, but no. Look at what these are doing to her. If I was here, it wouldn't have happened. You antagonized her to pick up a weapon and protect herself in her home from you bastards who have hurt her all her life. That's all she sees. I told her she'll get paid for the damages you have done to her, but this is worse. I thought by now you have common sense and looked at the records, your own damn records, and see that she's been assaulted and uphold the law. Come on. It's my daughter and it's my home. Why don't I have any rights? I've never hurt anyone in my life. I don't have any criminal record. I've never, ever been in trouble. All I've ever done is protected my daughter from what I've seen. You're a cover-up, and you are continuing to do it, and you're obstructing justice. It's a really sad case. This video should take you guys down. I wasn't for defunding the police, but if you're the police, you've got to be defunded. She's never hurt anyone in her frickin' life. And you come out here and antagonize her when she's drunk, when you know that she's mad at you. It's clearly reported over and over again. She kept trying to work with you. Please press my charges. Please press my charges for my childhood assaults that have left me disabled. No, we're going to come out here and do the same thing. How is she ever going to trust the police? How does anyone trust the police when they find this truth out? This just doesn't make sense. You're supposed to serve and protect. How did you serve and protect her today, guys? How did you do that? The judge would like to know that too. How are you serving and protecting? No answer, Your Honor. You have a court order. It says OPP to assist in this matter of the terms of my order. You guys are busting these orders. You're not assisting and helping her with the assaults. The newest court order says that your chief of police must release all records toward Amy from her mother, father, and anything that yous have done. Yous haven't fulfilled that. So this lawyer is going to take that court order and give it to your damn supervisor or whatever the hell it says on it, because they're in the legal charge of your records. Because he knows, like I've been telling him, police have been covering up her assault. Now it's going on 27 years. Just like you covered up the Indian children. Shame. Truth and reconciliation right here, people. This is what it's all about. This is what they do. They've been abusing her now 27 years. And the truth is going to come out. The crime will be dealt with. There is no time limit on what you did to this child. No time limit. So keep hurting her, because this is all damage. Additional damage. I told you to stop. I want you all out of my home. I am telling you to leave my home now, and you leave Amy alone. If she needs medical attention, you get them here now. But you just get out of here and stop hurting her now. Excuse me. Serve and protect, eh? What are you going to do to her? I already heard you shoot her twice. How many times are you going to shoot her? How many people are here for one person? One woman. Nice way to treat women. Nice way to treat an abused child. Your own records show that it was assault and you won't lay the charges. For 7 years, because you covered it up till the court clinic assessment exposed your wrongdoing and Children's Aid wrongdoing. Now you've got to come to terms with it. What are you doing to her? Fucking child abusers. Damn abusers. Let me in the home before you hurt her more. Stop hurting her. How do you just go home at night? How do you do this? How can you hurt people? She was hurting nobody. And she wasn't hurting herself. She's been doing this for a long time. She has got the mind of about a 15-year-old or a 13-year-old. Call the hospital, the doctor, and find out. Have you ever called her family doctor to see why you've had to come out here a dozen times? Why she keeps telling you you've got to press charges, it's your job, and she doesn't understand that you guys are still covering it up. You aren't going to help her. If anything, they're going to hurt you. Because you're paid by somebody who orders you. Your soul's been paid for. Go to church. Tell them what you've done. Maybe you'll get forgiveness. You've already shot her, so I don't know how you're going to come back from this. Probably hurt my dogs too, you sons of bitches. Unfortunately, my phone died, but I immediately went to the car to put the phone into the charger. At that point, when I started to exit the car, the officer was heading toward me from the home. And when he got to me, he placed me under arrest for obstruct justice. He placed me into cuffs, and I started to dispute, why is he doing this? What warrants my arrest? And he stated that I was distracting the officers in the course of their duty. I reminded him that you told me to move away, at which I did do in your earlier command, and I never went anywhere near your officers. I said if you wanted me to move further away, all you had to do is come over here and tell me you wanted me further, or you'd be placing me under arrest. At that point, he agreed to release me and took off the cuffs, but I had to leave the area completely. So I got in my car and I drove about a quarter mile up the road where they had my road blocked off and parked there, but I couldn't see the house from there. I rebooted my phone, it came back on, and I realized Amy had tried to call me 12 times. I knew she was very scared for her life, as I was as well, and she was calling for help and some advice of what to do here. Sergeant Davidson was passing me. She just arrived, and so I stopped her and introduced myself. Told her, you're running to the home where my daughter is for the suicide call, and she's tried to call me 12 times, and would it be okay to answer her call? Sergeant Davidson replied to me, I can't see why not, and continued to the house. Amy then called, and she was very scared, and she was repeating over and over, they're going to hurt me. I told her to calm down, and told her my phone's about to die, and you have to listen to me. You do exactly what I say, because I can't come back and help you here. I informed her that they weren't just going to hurt her, but if she's holding an axe or any kind of weapon when they storm in, they're going to kill her. I said, don't let them do that. You've got to get rid of that axe right now, and to put it in the far side of the home, in the kitchen where she wasn't sitting, and to leave it there and not go near it. Amy got rid of the axe and was crying, they're going to hurt me. I tried to assure her that they can't hurt her if she comes out peacefully without any weapons. She was still scared, so I advised her to come out on your own. It would make things a lot better, and they won't come in and rough you up. At that point, the father noticed a police officer was yelling from way down the road at my home and running toward me. I told Amy, you're gonna have to get the courage up, Amy. A police officer's coming and I have to hang up. She cried okay, and I hung up the phone. The officer then arrested me and took me to the jail, where he charged me with obstruction. In about 30 minutes from my call with Amy, she got the courage up to open the patio door to exit the house. She was only holding her cell phone, but unfortunately the police multiply tased her, injured her, and took her to the hospital. She was placed under arrest for several summary charges.
Amy has been held involuntarily for over 3 years. At the Brockville Royal Treatment Unit, she has been forced and experimented with several antipsychotic medications for her misdiagnosed psychosis, schizophrenia. All PST treatment that she was waiting for when arrested has been withheld for over 3 years, and Amy is still not allowed contact with her father or others. Helping me have a voice and get justice in any way you cut by contacting Act Audit at AOL.com. Canada's child protection system is broke. Amy and her father have come forward as whistleblowers, and the system is now attacking them. Please advocate for the protection of our children and our families.